So, good day everyone and also to Sir Marvin Bartolome. So, today po magkakaroon po ulit tayo ng bagong discussion about Lean, Six Sigma, and SWOT analysis. So, before we start, papakilala ko lang po yung mga kagrupo ko. Andyan po ang aming hacker, si De La Roya Hedrick Gerson, Digap Mark si Drill. Para naman po sa hipster, nandyan po ako, si Bilardo Giro O at si Bining Richard. Para naman po sa hustler, nandyan po si Santa Cruz Jasper and si Simbilio Carl Vincent. So, proceed po tayo. So, the Lean Production. The Lean Production is a methodology of increasing the speed of process within a business by cutting out waste. So, dito po sa Lean Production, sinusuri po natin kung paano po natin mapapabilis yung process sa isang business and also paano daw po natin kinaka-out out yung waste. So, bakit nga po ba mahalaga yon? Mahalaga po natin gawin yon para ma-minimize po yung cost na nakaka-apekto po sa ating profit. And also, pinapataas niya po yung quality ng ating product. So, the Lean thinking originated at Toyota from its production system. The original ideas were formulated by Sakichi Toyoda in 1920s and 1930s, but only made the hip to full implementation in the 1950s. So, ipinanganak po yung Lean thinking sa Toyota sa kanila pong production system. So, naisip po ito ni Sakichi Toyoda noong 1920s and 1930s, pero yung full hip implementation lang po is naganap po noong 1950s. So, waste is any part of business which doesn't add any value. So, ito lang daw po yung mga nakaka-aksaya sa business na hindi po nakakatulong kung paano po mapapabilis yung process. At ito po yung mga nakaka-apekto po sa profit po ng isang business. In this slide, pinapakita po dito kung ano po yung mga waste in lean production. Nandito po ang transportation, inventory, motion, waiting, overprocessing, overproduction, defects, and skills. Para ma-elaborate po natin kung ano po ba talaga ang meaning ng mga ito, ay di-discuss po natin siya one by one. One of we consider waste in business is transportation. So, transportation, also known as the touches, is the unnecessary movement of materials, equipment, or information. Minsan po, pag may mga kailangan tayong bagay or kailangang i-deliver sa long distance, is time consuming po. So, nakaka-apekto po ito sa ating production. Here are the other examples included. Multiple people reviewing the same document. So, minsan po, pag may papa-aproban po tayong dokumento, is kailangan pong i-review, minsan po, 3 to 4 person po. Tapos, nakaka-apekto po ito sa productivity kasi po, nagkakos po ito ng delay. Emailing information between people or loading departments. Minsan po, pag gusto po natin mag-send ng message, ay hindi naman po agad-agad ito nababasa. So, nagkakos din po ito ng delay. And minsan, kapag hinihintay po natin yung reply po is time-consuming pa po. So, nakaka-apekto po sa task completion. Moving inventory between storage areas, moving equipment or files between work areas. Minsan po, pag naglilipat po tayo ng gamit sa isang workplace, pag kailangan na po natin siya ulit, is babalik na naman po tayo doon. So, nagta-travel na naman po tayo sa mas mahabang distance. So, nagkakos na naman po ito ng delay. And also, nakaka-apekto po ito sa ating productivity. So, next waste that we consider in business is inventory. So, inventory refers to storing more supplies of having a higher quantity of materials on hand than needed or when needed. So, minsan po, nag-i-stock daw po tayo ng labis or sobra-sobra sa kailangan pa nating stock po. Halimbawa po, yung sa sari-sari store, bumili ka po ng maraming paninda. Yung ibang paninda naman po doon ay hindi naman po gaanong mabili. Examples included, valuable floor or storage space with unused items. So, yung minsan po, yung mga sobra pong stock is nakakalat po. Ngayon, yung workplace po natin is mas lumiliit or mas nakakahirap po sa atin sa paggalaw. Storing aging assets that quickly become obsolete. So, minsan po, yung mga binibili daw po nating stock is mabilis siyang maluma. So, minsan, kadalasan po is hindi na po siya naibebenta. Storing open use items in hard to reach areas. So, yung mga kadalasan po natin ginagamit na bagay is na-store po natin sa mahirap kunin. Ngayon, kung kailangan na po natin siyang gamitin, ay hindi po natin siya alam kung saan nilagay or mahirap po siyang kunin kung kinakailangan po natin. So, next is motion. Motion is any movement of people does not add value to the product or service. So dito na daw po is ito naman daw po yung mga excessive movement natin na wala naman pong direktang kinalaman sa papapaganda ng ating product o service. Examples include storing frequently used tools and materials in hard to reach places. So yung mga bagay daw po natin na kadalasang ginagamit is na ilalagay po natin sa mahirap makuha o sa minsan po is nami-misplace pa po natin. Next naman po is workplace not organized in order of the process being performed. So yung workplace po na ating ginagalawan is hindi po organized. Marahil po yung mga gamit po natin is nakakalat lang po, hindi po natin siya inaayos. So nakakaapekto din po sa ating productivity. Next naman po is having to open multiple software application to complete a step. So minsan po nag-open pa po tayo ng 1 or 2 more application. Halimbawa po, kailangan pa po nating i-open yung email natin para sa verification. Next naman po is excessive clicks required to perform a routine. So, minsan po, pag halimbawa po, magbabayad po tayo sa 7-Eleven, is marami pa po tayong pinipindot bago po tayo makakuha ng resibo po.
Hello everyone, my name is Marcendril Pidigap and I will continue the discussion about the waste in lean production. Let's proceed to waiting. Waiting is the most prevalent of all 8. Waiting, and it refers to process delays while waiting on people, equipment, materials, or information. Mga example na narito sa slide ay being unable to complete a step until receiving a file, a process that is stalled due to a missing signature, a process step that requires the attention of a waiting, busy subject matter expert. So, waiting happens when work is delayed because something or someone is not ready. It means that nasasayang yung oras. Time is wasted while waiting for people, for the materials, equipment, or information. According to example, you cannot finish your task because you haven't received a needed file. So, hindi mo matapos-tapos yung trabaho mo kasi mayroon ka pang hinihintay na kailangan na file. And then the other one is a process is stopped because a signature is missing. So, ayun, matatapos na sana yung task mo, yung trabaho mo, pero may kailangan ka pang signature. May hinihintay ka pang tao para pumirma doon. Then the other example is work is delayed because a busy expert has not reviewed it yet. So in short, si waiting, nasasayang yung oras. Lost time because something is not ready. So let's proceed to the over-processing. Over-processing is any effort that add value to the product or service from the customer's perspective. Examples include redundant process steps, fields on forms requiring unused information, the addition of features or services that customers don't need, providing a higher level of quality than required. So, over-processing happens when you do more work than necessary or you add features to the customers that doesn't really need. It's about doing extra steps that don't add real value. According to the example, redundant process steps, doing the same task multiple times or filling out forms with unnecessary details, adding fancy features that the customers didn't ask for or hindi naman nila yun kailangan o hindi naman nila gagamitin. And then, making a product or service higher quality than the required. Na doon nasasayang yung oras, pati na yung mga resources. So, in short, si overprocessing, doing extra work that doesn't benefit the customer. So, let's proceed to the overproduction. Overproduction is making more units or excess stock faster than the next step in the process or the customer requires. Examples include selecting reply all for emails that only a few need to see, creating unnecessarily large batches, printing 20 copies of a report that only 3 people will read. So, si overproduction, meaning making or doing more than what is needed. Ginagawa natin, nagpo-produce tayo ng maraming copies na hindi naman kailangan masyado na mas kailangan lang natin ng kaunti, either too soon or in larger quantities than required. This creates excess stock, wasted time, and unnecessary work. Examples from these slides: making large batches when only a small amount is needed, and then printing too many copies of a report that few people will actually read. Ayan, nasasayang. Kakaroon tayo ng maraming loss doon sa ating resources. In short, overproduction is producing too much or too fast compared to what's really needed. And then the other one is the skills. Skills refers to not making the best use of people's experience, knowledge, skills, creativity, or capability. Examples include requiring employees to constantly ask for permission or approval, not offering employees the training to expand their abilities, requiring those with specialized skills to perform unskilled activities. So, skills waste happens when a company doesn't fully use the abilities, the creativity, or the knowledge of its employees. So, it means people's talents are not being used effectively. Hindi nagagamit yung skills ng mga employee ng isang company. Kaya doon pumapasok si skills waste. Ang example natin dito sa slide, making employees always ask for approval instead of trusting them to decide. So, kapag mapagkakatiwalaan naman natin yung employee natin, mag-decide na lang sila, tulungan natin sila na magtiwala doon sa pagde-decide nila. And then, not giving training or opportunities to improve their skills. Having skilled workers do simple or unskilled tasks that don't match their expertise. Ayun, meron tayong mga empleyado na skilled workers, pero nilalagay sila doon sa mga simple na task or doon sa mga unskilled task na sana nagagamit doon sa bagay na magaling sila. In short, skills waste means not using people to their full potential. Hindi nagagamit yung ideas, yung experience, yung talents na sana ay nagagamit sa maayos pero nasasayang. And then let's proceed to the Lean Toolbox. The Lean Toolbox consists of 4 different areas: the 5S, full system, JIT production, and the Kanban. So first, ipinapakita dito yung Lean Toolbox. The Lean Toolbox is a set of methods used in lean manufacturing to reduce waste, improve the efficiency, and increase the value for the customer. Ang bawat part, papaliwanag natin. Punta muna tayo dun sa 5S. Sa 5S, this is a system for keeping the workplace clean and organized. Ang 5S, binubuo siya ni sort, set in order, shine, standardize, and sustain. And then the other part is the pull system. Pull system, producing products only when needed based on customer demand. Ina-avoid nito yung overproduction and reduces the storage cost. Si JIT production naman, or the just-in-time production, producing or delivering materials exactly when they are needed, not too early or too late. And then nakakatulong din ito para mabawasan yung inventory and then the waste. And then si Kanban, a visual signal system like cards or boards used to manage the workflow. It helps to track production steps and control the inventory level. So in short, the Lean Toolbox is basically a collection of methods para mas mabilis yung process, mas maging cheaper and more efficient while keeping the quality high. And then the last slide for my part is the 5S. So, explain natin mabuti kung ano nga ba si 5S at kung para saan siya. Though, Ito, the 5S is known to be an antidote to waste. Kumbaga, siya yung gamot para mabawasan yung waste. Ano? Ang una, ang sort or siri. Remove unnecessary items from each area. Keep only what is needed. And then the second one is set in order or the Satan. A place for everything and everything in its place. And number 3, the shine or the say so. Cleaning and inspecting the workplace, tools and machinery on a regular basis to expose problems. Number 4 is standardize or the seiketsu. Develop a standard procedures and protocols for the first 3 rules. And then the last one is the sustain or the shitsuke. Create a system which will monitor and ensure that the standardized procedure is consistently being performed. So, ang slide na to, ipinapaliwanag si 5S. Na si 5S is a lean tool used to create an organized, clean, and efficient workplace. It's called an antidote to waste because it helps to remove clutter and confusion that slow down the work. So, ang 5S, according to the slide, the sort or the series, remove things you don't need. Keep only useful items to avoid mess and confusion. Ayun, tinuturo sa atin na alisin natin yung mga bagay na hindi naman natin kailangan doon sa workplace natin. Then the other one is the set in order or the Satan. Arrange items so they are easy to find and return. According to the slide, a place for everything and everything in its place. So tinuturuan tayo para maging organized. Para kapag may kinailangan tayong gamit, alam natin agad kung saan natin kukunin. Then the other one is the shine or the say so. Clean your workplace and equipment regularly. This keeps things in good condition and helps spot problems early. So yan, linisin natin lagi yung workplace natin, yung mga equipment natin para mapanatili sila doon sa good condition. Tapos makakatulong din ito para mas madali nating kumbaga, mas madali natin matroubleshoot kung nasaan ba yung problema. And then the other one is the standardize or the seiketsu. Create consistent rules and schedules for sorting, organizing, and cleaning. And the last one is the sustain or the shitsuke. Make 5S a habit by training and monitoring regularly so it becomes part of the company culture. Napakalaki ang may tutulong ng 5S para sa ika-aayos at ika-organize ng ating company. So, ang goal ni 5S para mas ma-improve yung productivity, yung safety and quality while reducing waste and the downtime. So, hanggang dyan po ang aking part. Dadako na tayo sa susunod na reporter.
JIT production is it minimizes the time, labor, and materials in manufacturing process. The system ensures that goods are being produced only as they needed. Meaning po na pinoproduce lang daw po yung isang product or isang item kapag kailangan na. The desired outcome is a streamlined production system that contains a minimal amount of on-site raw materials, minimal wait time in the production process, and small batch size. And JIT production uses the principle of pull system, and later we will tackle what is pull system. The benefit within JIT system are low working capital. Kasi nga po, sabi din na hindi mo kailangan maglabas ng maraming kapital dahil hindi ka naman mag-order ng marami or hindi ka naman produce ng madami kung hindi kinakailangan. Since inventory levels are quite low, sabi nga, reduction for needed space and materials for handling goods na hindi mo na iisipin kung saan mo ilalagay yung mga materials mo dahil hindi ka naman nga mag-i-impact ng marami kung hindi naman kinakailangan. Since there's no filling up too many stocks in the process, the main pitfall with a just-in-time system is that an interruption to the system can quickly slow or quickly shut down the process since there is no buffer built into the system. Kumbaga po yung downside daw po ng just-in-time production ay kumbaga parang nai-interrupt po yung yung paghihintay or mahaba po yung time ng paghihintay dahil gagawin pa lang po mismo product kung kailan siya kailangan. And sabi po dito, just-in-time production is a manufacturing strategy na where yung materials and products are made to order only when needed, reducing waste and storage costs. Instead of keeping large inventories, JIT focuses on efficiency by producing small batches. No, meaning po na hindi po sila nagpo-produce ng malakihan kung wala namang kailangan or wala namang order. And it follows a pull system, meaning production starts only when there is actual customer. And one of example of this is the Toyota company, and they order only a parts of the automotive when they needed it in the production line. And it says that supplier deliver components like tires or seat exactly when they are needed on the assembly line. Kumbaga po yung Toyota daw po ay umu-order lang ng mga product or ng mga parts kung merong magpapagawa sa kanila. And yung kahalagahan daw po nun ay this reduce inventory costs, but if deliveries are delayed, katulad nga po na sinabi sa downside ng JIT production, example is due to a supply issue and production stops immediately. So ang ginagawa po ng Toyota ay yung umi-stop po muna sila sa paggagawa kapag wala po silang materials. And a pull system is a method for controlling the flow of resources through a process. The goal of such a system is to replace only what has been consumed at the optimal time. It is called a pull system because resources are pulled into the pipeline only as they are needed or requested. This differs from a push system, which attempt to use forecasts and schedules to drive the flow of production. This system requires constant and precise monitoring of demands, which is done using Kanban. And what is Kanban? Kanban, signal or visual controls, are used to trigger material and information movement or production execution through the full system. The goal for this system is to support continuous flow, or meaning make one, move one. The Kanban pull system is a way of synchronizing the materials and information flow or disconnected processes to enable just-in-time production. And what's the meaning of this? A pull system is a production method where items are made or moved only when there is a demand for them. Halimbawa po na yung isang material ay o-orderin lang kung sakaling mayroong customer na may kailangan neto or merong gumamit neto na kunyari po papalitan lang po yung mga nagamit na materials. The pull system ensures that every step in the process happens in response to customer needs. O halimbawa po na yung pull system nga daw po ay nagre-rely sa mga customer kung ano po yung mga kailangan nila or kung ano po yung kailangan sa isang production. At yung goal po nito is to minimize waste and overproduction and excess inventory. And yung example po nito is Toyota nga din po. They use the pull system in their just-in-time manufacturing. When the dealership sells a car, that sale, yung car daw po na nabenta na yun, pulls a replacement order. Kumbaga po yung pagkabenta po ng Toyota ng isang sasakyan ay order na po sila bilang pamalit doon sa na order na sasakyan. Each part of the process, from assembly to part supplier, receives a Kanban signal. Ano nga po pala yung Kanban signal? At later po ay itatopic po natin. Yung system po na to ay nagmamatch doon sa actual na demand kung ano po yung mismong kailangan na materials ng customer. What is Kanban? Kanban is the Japanese word for sign, which is an inventory control system used in just-in-time manufacturing to track down the production and order new shipments of parts and materials. It was developed by Taiichi Oni, an industrial engineer at Toyota. The Kanban system can be thought of a signal and response system. Kumbaga po, ito daw po yung nagsaserve as yung parang pag-utos sa kanila kung ano po yung mga dapat nilang gawin. When an item is running at low and at an operational station, there will be a visual cue specifying how much order from the supply. The person using the parts makes the order for the quantity indicated by the Kanban, and the supplier provides the exact amount requested. And what is the meaning of this? Kanban is a visual scheduling and inventory control system that helps us to manage our workflow and materials efficiency. It ensures that production only happens when there is actual demand. Kumbaga po yung Kanban daw po ang nagsasabi kung kailangan na ba ng ganitong materials, kung kailangan na ba mag-produce or magpa-deliver ng mga bagong kailangan na materials. Actual demand, preventing overproduction and excess inventory. Kagaya lang din po na sa JIT production as sa full system, yung Kanban po ay ginagamit sa dalawa na yon, na which is yung Kanban po ang nagpe-prevent na maka-order ng madami at makapag-produce ng madami, dahil po yung Kanban po ang nagsasabi kung kailangan na ba mag-produce at umorder ng mga piyesa. The system uses visual signage or visual signals like cards or boards to indicate when more materials or products are needed. And our example again is the Toyota car factory. When a worker on the assembly line uses up a box of bolts, they send a Kanban card to the storage area. This card signals that another box of bolts needed to be delivered. So yung Kanban po, parang ito po yung nagko-contain kung ano daw po yung kailangan sa production line or kung ano yung kailangan na order ng customer. So our next topic is the Six Sigma. And what is this? So our next reporter or our next presenter will be discussing it all, which is Mr. Richard Biding. And thank you very much. My name is Carl Vincent Isimbilio, and I am the hustler of our group.
So my name is Richard Bidding, and I share it today is all about Sigma. Six Sigma. What is Six Sigma? The Six Sigma is data-driven methodology that provides the tools and techniques to define and evaluate each step of a process. It is a method that focuses in improving the quality of the process in business structure, thus increasing the bottom line profit. So, in every business or production process, maintaining quality is essential. Companies aim to deliver products and services that meet or even exceed customer expectations. So, Six Sigma is a statistical and business improvement concept designed to minimize defects and barriers in progress. It helps organizations achieve consistent and near perfect result. So, itong Six Sigma ay sobrang mahalaga sa company or sa business. It can be used both before starting a business or by an existing business also. It worked by eliminating defects and reducing error to nearly zero. As I said, almost perfect. It used a statistical approach to identify and remove the root causes of problem in any process, leading to higher quality, increasing efficiency and greater customer satisfaction. Halimbawa na lang sa halimbawa sa McDonald's na minsan nade-delay yung delivery, matagal lumabas ang order at may mali sa pagkain. Halimbawa kulang sa price o mali ng inumin. Gumagamit ng Six Sigma method para suriin kung saan ito na-delay, sa kitchen ba, sa cashier o sa delivery process. Gamit ang DMAIC or Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, Control. Inaayos nila ito. Naglalagay ng standard steps sa pagluluto at pag-assemble ng order. Sinasanay ang mga crew na sundin ang tamang sequence. Gumagamit ng timer at checklist para mabilis at tama ang output. As a result, mabilis na service, mas kaunti ang mali sa order at mas magiging satisfied ang customer. But take note that Six Sigma is not easy at first, but when proper training and teamwork, it becomes easier to apply it successfully. So the term Sigma represents the amount of variation in a process relative to customer specifications. In Six Sigma, the goal is to reduce variation so that defects are minimized. The Six Sigma values measured using defects per million opportunities or DPMO, or the number of defects found in a million chances. Six Sigma corresponds to only 3.4 DPMO, meaning that process is 99.99% defect free. Halimbawa na lang dito sa Toyota, bawat parte ng kotse ay sinusukat nila ang quality gamit ang Six Sigma. Kumbaga, iniisa-isa nila to, at kapag umabot na ito sa Six Sigma level, ibig sabihin halos wala na tong mali. Parang 3 sa 1 milyong parts, yun na lang yung may defect. Kaya mapuprove na matibay at safe maasahan ng products nila and services. So the Six Sigma methodology was first developed by Motorola Corporation in the mid-1980s. Motorola discovered that products with high first pass yield, those that pass production without defects, perform better and satisfied customers more. Later, Six Sigma gained worldwide popularity when Jack Welch, the CEO of General Electric or GE, adopted it as part of company's strategy. GE achieved an estimate of 12 billion savings over 5 years through Six Sigma. According to Jack Welch, Six Sigma is a quality program that improves your customer experience, lower your costs, and builds better leader. Sinasabi lang dito na sa sinabi ni Jack, ang Six Sigma hindi lang basta paraan para mabuhasan ng mali. Kumbaga, tinutulungan din itong ma-improve how employee think and decide and lead also. So the company can deliver the best experience to customer and save money at the same time. So dito naman tayo sa Six Sigma methodologies. The DMAIC process is the core method used in Six Sigma to improve existing process. The name DMAIC stands for Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control, which are the 5 phases that guides the team through systematic problem solving and process improvement. So ito na-apply na natin to kanina sa McDonald's, yung mabagal na paglabas ng order, mabagal na action. Kumbaga ginamitan natin ito ng Six Sigma method, and tulong nitong DMAIC. Pinayos nila yung proseso, mas pinabilis at finix nila yung mga defects. Kumbaga inayos nila lahat yon para mas mapabilis na yung service. Ayun. Dito naman tayo sa DMADV. Sa DMADV naman, approach is used when creating a new process, product, or services, or when a complete redesign is needed to meet customer requirements and expectations. It focuses on design quality into a new system rather than improving an existing one. So dito ang DMAIC ay ginagamit para pagandahin o improve ang existing na process ng isang kumpanya. Dito hinahanap kung saan nagkakaroon ng problema, ina-analyze ang cost ng problem, and making a solution para ma-improve ang quality at performance. Meanwhile, sa DMADB naman ay ginagamit to create or redesign the new process, product, or service to ensure it meets customer requirements from the start. So, additional lang sa DMADB, ilagay lang natin sa isang situation. Samsung noticed that many customers are complaining about short battery life. Tama. Low quality cameras. Check. In mid-range smartphones, they decide to design a new model that solves these problems using DMADB. So, using define, measure, analyze, design, and verify, new smartphone met customer expectations. Parang same lang to sa isa, gumawa lang ng ito yung process para ma-resolve yung defects. Ginamit ng Samsung ang DMADB para mag-design yun na bagong cellphone na mas matagal ang battery life at mas malinaw na yung camera. Sinimulan nila ang pagkuha ng opinion ng customers, ina-analyze ang data, tapos dinevelop at sinubukan muna bago ilabas sa market. Dahil dito, naging successful ang bagong model at tumaas ang consumer satisfaction. Yun. Nandito naman tayo sa tools used in Six Sigma. The tools used in Six Sigma are techniques that helps analyze data, identify problems, and improvement processes. They include methods like ANOVA, histograms, Pareto analysis, fishbone diagram, and control charts, which allow teams measure performance to find root causes of defects and test solutions. So, etong mga to is ginagamit lang sa pag-locate ng different problems. Pero lahat to nagagamit. Gaya lang sa brainstorming. Sa brainstorming, di ba? Ito yung nagtutulungan kayo sa pag-iisip. Kayong buong team nagge-generate ng ideas to solve the problem. Yun. Dito sa cause and effects, fishbone diagram helps to find the root causes of the problem, analyzing why there are too many defects in production. And so, kumbaga, lahat ito ay function ng Six Sigma upang ma-resolve yung defects. Ayan. So, Six Sigma is more than just a quality control system. It is a management philosophy focuses on continuous improvement, efficient, and customer satisfaction. Through the DMA-IC and DMA-DV methodologies, organizations can systematically identify problems, analyze causes, and implement solutions that reduce errors and enhance productivity. By adopting Six Sigma principles, business can achieve higher standard of quality, lower operational costs, and greater customer trust. It remains one of the most powerful and effective approach to achieving excellence in modern business operations. Thank you.
Okay, so move on na po tayo sa example ng Six Sigma kung saan ang ating scenario ay paglinis ng garahe para makapagpasok ng motor. Unang step ay ang define. Dito, nag-identify ng problems at nagsiset ng goal na kailangan ma-achieve tulad na lang ng maglinis para may enough floor space para sa motor. Pangalawa ay measure. Dito, susukatin natin kung gaano ba kalaking floor space ang kailangan natin para sa motor. Third step ay analyze. Dito naman, i-assess natin yung mga gamit na nasa garage para ma-identify yung kung saan may available na storage para sa kanila. Fourth step ay improve. Sa step na ito, mag-i-implement tayo ng lean tools tulad ng 5S para ma-organize at improve ang space sa garage. Last step ay control. Sa step na to, dito mini-make sure na yung ginawa nating paglilinis ay na-maintain. Ang pwedeng gawin dito ay maglagay ng mga label sa lagayan para hindi naghahalo-halo ang mga gamit, or mag-conduct ng weekly or every 2 weeks na pag-check para makita if na-maintain ba ito. Next naman ay the birth of Lean Six Sigma. Balikan muna natin ano ang Lean at ang Six Sigma. Ang Lean ay ang pag-eliminate ng waste para makapag-improve ng speed and efficiency, habang ang Six Sigma ang pag-eliminate sa defect para mag-improve ng quality. Pag pinagsama, tinatawag siya as Lean Six Sigma. With both of these, nare-reduce ang defects, nababawasan ng inefficiencies, at nag-i-improve both ang speed at quality ng operation ng isang business. This then leads to benefits na i-discuss natin next slide. So, dito na tayo sa benefits ng Lean Six Sigma. Una, increase in profit. Sino ba ang ayaw mag-increase sa kinikita?
Ang Lean Six Sigma ay makakatulong sa pagtaas ng profit. Pangalawa, standardized and simplified process. Meaning, imbis na may mga complicated pang process na tumatagal, mas mapapadali ang process sa isang business. Pangatlo, reduced errors. Ibig sabihin lang ay nababawasan yung mga errors sa operation ng business. Pang-apat ay employee development. Dito, na-improve ang skills, knowledge, at abilities ng mga employees which will then greatly impact ang pag-grow ng isang business. Lastly, ang value of customers. Dito, tataas ang customer satisfaction which will then lead sa pagbalik nila or pag-endorse pa ng business sa iba para tumaas ang value ng customers. Moving on to the next topic, which is SWOT analysis. So, ano nga ba ang SWOT analysis? Ito ay isang tool na based sa mga data ng isang company na ginagamit para malaman kung ano ang current na kinakatuyuan ng kanilang business. Ginagamit ito para ma-assess or malaman ang internal or external issues nila o kaya ang mga future potentials na meron sila. Pwede rin nila gamitin ito para makapag-identify ng mga competitors nila. Pero ano ba ang main use nito? Ginagamit siya para mag-identify kung ano ang pwede i-improve sa business o kaya malaman kung paano makakuha ng advantages sa competitors. Dito rin malalaman kung ano ang mga negative aspects ng isang business. With this information na nakuha ng isang business, ay makakagawa sila ng mga smarter decisions at maalis nila ang mga part na nagko-contribute sa business nila negatively.
Move on naman tayo ngayon sa how does SWOT work. A SWOT analysis is a technique for assessing the performance, competition, risk, and potential of a business. It can be also applied to part of a business such as a product line, or an industry or other entity. Using internal and external data, the technique can guide businesses towards strategies for likely to succeed and away from those that have been are more likely to be less successful. Independent SWOT analysis, investors, or competitors can also guide them on whether a company, product line, or industry might be strong or weak and why. Now, let's talk about how the SWOT analysis works. Basically, it helps a business figure out its strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Yung strengths at weaknesses, yan yung mga galing sa loob ng business like quality ng product, service, or even performance ng team. Samantalang ang opportunities at threats naman, galing sa tulad ng market trends, competitors, o demands ng customers. Ang goal ng SWOT analysis is para mas maintindihan ng business kung saan sila magaling, saan kailangan mag-improve, at ano yung mga chance o danger na dapat bantayan. For instance, isang business, specifically a milk tea shop, strength nila, let's say, unique flavors at affordable prices. Pero ang weakness nila, mabagal ang service. So, pwede nilang ayusin yun by giving better staff training or hiring more crew. Sa opportunity side, pwede nilang i-grab yung lumalaking demand ng milk tea sa mga estudyante. Pero syempre, kailangan din nilang maging aware sa threats like mga bagong kalaban na nagbubukas sa malapit. So, in short, ang SWOT analysis ay parang guide ng negosyo. It helps you plan smart moves. Gamitin ang strengths mo, ayusin ang weaknesses mo, i-grab ang opportunities at iwasan ang threats. Para in the end, mas prepared ka sa kahit anong business situation. So now, let's move on parts of SWOT analysis. First, we have strengths. Strengths describe what an organization excels at and what separates it from the competition. A strong brand, loyal customer base, a strong balance sheet, unique technology, and so on. For example, a hedge fund may have developed a property trading strategy that returns market-beating results. It must then decide how to use those results to attract new investors. Strengths are the things that make a business stand out? Ito yung mga dahilan kung bakit mas lamang ka kaysa sa competitors mo. It could be your strong brand, loyal customers, or unique product that others don't have. For example, a local bakery in Nueva Ecija na laging may mainit na pandesal tuwing umaga. Customers always come back because they know the quality is consistent. That's their strength. Reliability and customer loyalty. So in short, strengths show what your business that does best and what makes it shine. Next, let's move on to weaknesses. Weaknesses stop an organization from performing at its optimum level. These are areas where the businesses needs to improve to remain competitive. A weak brand, higher than average turnover, high levels of debt, an inadequate supply chain, or lack of capital. Weaknesses are the areas that hold a business back. Ito yung mga bagay na kailangan pang ayusin o i-improve. It could be a lack of marketing, small budget, or poor customer service. For instance, imagine a small clothing shop na maganda ang products pero walang online store or social media page. Dahil doon, kaunti lang ang nakakita ng items nila. That's their weakness, limited visibility. But once they go online, mas lalaki ang chance nilang makakuha ng more customers. So weaknesses reminds the business where it still needs to grow. Now, let's talk about opportunities. Opportunities are favorable external factors that could give an organization a competitive advantage. For example, if a country cuts tariffs, a car manufacturer can export its cars into a new market, increasing sales and market share. Opportunities are external factors that can help a business grow. Mga bagay sa paligid na pwede mong samantalahin. For example, a local cafe near a new university sees that many students are looking for a quiet place to study. The owner grabs the opportunity by offering student discounts and free Wi-Fi. Because of that, dumami ang customers at mas tumaas ang sales. So opportunities are all about seeing what's new or trending and turning it into an advantage. Lastly, we have threats. Threats refers to factors that can potentially harm an organization. For example, a drought is a threat to a wheat producing company as it may destroy or reduce the crop yield. Other common threats include things like rising costs for materials, increasing competition, tight labor supply, and so on. Threats are outside factors that could harm the business. Mga bagay na hindi mo kontrolado pero dapat paghandaan. This can be new competitors' price changes or economic problems. For example, a smaller rice retailer might face a threat kapag bumaba ang presyo ng bigas sa malalaking grocery stores. Customers might switch there because it's cheaper. Kaya kailangan nilang gumawa ng paraan like offering free delivery or suki discounts para makasabay pa rin sa competition. So threats remind the business to always be prepared and flexible. How to do a SWOT analysis. Determine your objectives, resources gather, compile ideas, refine findings, develop the strategy. How to do a SWOT analysis. Presentation style. So, when we talk about how to do a SWOT analysis, may 5 tayong steps na kailangang sundin. Pero para mas madali nating maintindihan, let's use just one example, a milk tea shop. First step, determine your objectives. Kailangan muna nating malaman kung bakit natin ginagawa ang SWOT analysis. For example, gusto mong alamin kung ready ka na bang mag-open ng second branch. So ang objective mo is to find out kung expansion ba ang smart move para sa'yo. Kapag malinaw ang goal mo, mas madali mong magagamit ang SWOT sa tamang direksyon. Kasi alam mo na agad kung saan mo gustong mag-focus. Next, gather resources. Dito naman, kukunin mo lahat ng information na makakatulong sa'yo. Tingnan mo yung sales reports, feedback ng customers, pati na rin kung anong ginagawa ng competitors mo. Halimbawa, napansin mo na maraming bumibili sa hapon, pero kaunti lang sa umaga. Pwede kang magtanong sa customers, baka gusto nila ng morning promo o baka late masyado ang bukas ng shop. The more data you have, mas accurate at useful ang SWOT analysis mo. Third, compile ideas. Dito mo na ilalagay lahat ng findings mo sa 4 na parts: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, at threats. For our multi-shop, example, ang strength mo ay mga unique flavors at loyal customers. Ang weakness mo ay limited seating space at kulang sa marketing. Ang opportunity, dumadami ang mga estudyanteng bumibili ng milk tea dahil malapit ka sa schools. At ang threats, may mga bagong milk tea shops na nagsusulputan malapit sa'yo. So dito mo makikita kung saan ka malakas at saan ka kailangan pang mag-improve. Fourth, refined findings. Ngayon na may listahan ka na, ayusin mo na ito. Tanggalin mo yung mga hindi gaano importante at piliin lang yung mga pinakamalaking impact sa business. For example, kung parehong problema ang kulang sa space at mahina ang online presence, isipin mo alin ang mas urgent. Baka mas okay na mag-focus ka muna sa online marketing para mas kilala ka ng mga tao, kahit maliit pa lang yung shop mo. And lastly, develop the strategy. Ito na yung exciting part, kasi dito ka na gagawa ng action plan based sa SWOT mo. Gamitin mo ang strengths mo para i-take advantage ang opportunities, ayusin ang weaknesses at paghandaan mo ang threats. Halimbawa, since ang strength mo ay loyal customer at opportunity mo ay dumadami ang students nearby, pwede kang mag-offer ng student loyalty card o discount promos para mas ma-attract sila. So dito na nagiging real plan ang SWOT analysis. From analyzing your business to actually taking action para mapalago ito. Now let's move on to the benefits of SWOT. Complex problems are more manageable. It requires external considerations. It can be applied to almost every business question. It leverages different data sources. An analysis may not be overly costly to prepare. Now let's talk about the benefits of doing a SWOT analysis. Unang-una, complex problems become more manageable. Ibig sabihin, kahit gaano kalaki o kagulo ang problema ng business mo, mas madali mo itong naiintindihan kapag hinati mo sa 4 areas: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Parang binubuo mo ulit ang puzzle piece by piece. For example, kung may problema ka sa sales ng milk tea shop mo, instead of stressing out, you can use SWOT para malaman kung issue ba sa marketing, sa competition, o sa product mismo. Second, it requires external considerations. Hindi lang kasi internal factors ang tinitingnan ng SWOT, kundi pati yung mga nangyayari sa labas ng business mo, like market trends, economic changes, or new competitors. Halimbawa, kung may bagong milk tea brand na papasok sa Talavera, part yan ng external factor na dapat mo ring paghandaan. Third, it can be applied to almost every business question. Kaya maganda ang SWOT kasi flexible siya. Pwede mo siyang gamitin sa kahit anong business situation. Gusto mong mag-launch ng bagong product, magbukas ng bagong branch, o magbago ng marketing strategy, pwede mong gamitin ang SWOT analysis as your guide. Fourth, it leverages different data sources. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang sa isang source ka kukuha ng information. Pwede kang gumamit ng sales reports, customer feedback, surveys, at market research. Mas marami kang pinagmumulan ng data, mas reliable ang magiging analysis mo. And lastly, an analysis may not be overly costly to prepare. Hindi mo kailangan ng malaking budget para makagawa ng SWOT. Pwede mo itong gawin kahit sa simpleng paraan, brainstorming with your team, observing customers, o checking your sales records. Pero kahit simple lang, malaki ang natutulong nito sa paggawa ng tamang business decisions. So overall, the benefit of SWOT analysis is that it helps you clearly understand your business situation without spending too much while preparing you to make smarter and more strategic moves.